I get it, there's that moment when you're scrolling through a sea of kitchen appliances, the pictures look glossy, the descriptions promise professional-grade power, and then you finally get the mixer home, flip the switch and nothing. You've probably felt the sting of buying a stand mixer that can't handle a real batch of pizza dough, or that wobble makes you wonder if you're about to break a kitchen cabinet. That hesitation is why I wanted to dig a little deeper before I hit buy now. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The JARYANNIX 110V 30L dough mixer tries to position itself between the hobbyist's home kitchen and a small-scale commercial operation. It's a big, sturdy-looking unit with a 30L bowl and a dual-action, double-speed hook that claims to knead up to 26 pounds of dough. At first glance, that sounds like the sweet spot for anyone who bakes bread, rolls out pizza, or runs a weekend bakery, but the real question is whether it actually delivers in the day-to-day grind. First, let's talk about the setup. The machine arrives as a single box, fairly heavy for its class, so you'll need 2 strong people to unload it. The assembly is straightforward. You attach the metal legs, bolt the motor housing onto the base, then slide the large bowl onto the spindle. All the bolts come pre-tightened, but you'll still want to give them a final turn with the provided Allen key. The whole process takes about 10 minutes if you have a clear workspace. Once it's standing, the unit is impressively stable. The base is weighted and the legs have non-slip feet, so when the hook starts pulling, there's almost no vibration. That's a big plus for anyone who's worried about a mixer rattling across the countertop. Now, onto everyday use. The smart and convenient label on the product sheet translates into a fairly intuitive control panel. There's a speed dial that gives you low, medium, and high settings, plus a timer knob that you can crank up to 30 minutes. The timer isn't a digital LCD, it's a mechanical dial that you set before you start. When you hit the start button, the mixer begins, and the timer will chime when the time you set runs out. For a home baker who needs to knead a single loaf of sourdough, you'll likely dial the low speed, set a short timer, and manually stop when the dough looks right. For a small cafe that needs to keep multiple batches rolling, the high speed and longer timer let you set the machine and walk away for a while. A key strength that shows up in real-world scenarios is the dual-action hook. Traditional mixers usually have a single motion. They spin the hook in one direction, relying on the dough's own resistance to develop gluten. JARYANNIX adds a secondary push-and-pull motion that mimics how you'd knead by hand. In practice, this means the dough reaches a smoother, more elastic state a bit faster. I tried a batch of whole-grain pizza dough, which tends to be sticky and tough on the motor. On low speed, the hook tackled the mass without stalling, and after about 8 minutes the dough was glossy and held its shape. On medium speed, the same dough took roughly 5 minutes to get there. For anyone who's had a mixer stall mid-knead and end up with a half-mixed mess, that dual-action mechanism is a genuine time-saver. However, there are trade-offs. The bowl capacity is 30L, which is generous, but that also means the machine's footprint is large. On a cramped kitchen island, you'll need to dedicate a permanent spot for it, or risk knocking it into cabinets. The unit also runs on 110V, so it's designed for North American outlets. If you're in Europe or another region with 220/240V, you'll need a transformer, which adds cost and complexity. Those who are looking for a portable countertop model will probably find the size and weight a deal breaker. Safety is another area where the JARYANNIX tries to stand out. The motor housing has a built-in overload protector that cuts power if the motor overheats. In a test where I pushed the mixer a little beyond its rated dough weight, the unit shut off automatically after a few minutes, then resumed once it cooled. That feature protects both the machine and your kitchen from a fire hazard. There's also a lock on the bowl rim that prevents it from spilling when you lift it off the spindle. Those little details matter if you've ever had dough splatter all over the floor while trying to swap out a bowl. Who should consider buying this? If you're a serious home baker who frequently makes artisan breads, pizza, or even small batches of pastries, The 30L capacity and dual-speed hook give you the flexibility to scale up without buying a commercial-grade mixer you'll never fully use. Small business owners think a Saturday-only bakery, a neighborhood coffee shop that sells fresh rolls, or a catering service that needs to prep dough in batches will find the timer and high-speed setting useful for keeping production moving without constant supervision.